Roshini Rajkumar back with you. What a night. We are under a cyber attack, folks. It's pretty widespread, as I understand it, in Europe and touching and parts of the United States. To get into it, a man who knows far more about this stuff than I do, hopefully can fill us in. He is Greg Scott, author of Bullseye Breach. Hi there, Greg.
Hi, Roshini. Nice to talk to you.
You know, it's nice to have you with us tonight, unfortunately, for such a rough topic. But this is your thing. This is your expertise. Before we get into this whole Petya thing, I want to square some definitions with you. Is that all right?
Sure.
Okay. So when we hear about this world of viruses, worms, all these different things, I am very not tech savvy, okay? So, and maybe there are some listeners out there who fall into that bracket, but even if they don't, it's good to just brush up on our definitions. So what
Absolutely.
is ransomware in general?
In general, ransomware is malicious software inside your computer that scrambles everything important and then offers to unscramble it in return for a small fee. It's no different than the old-fashioned shakedown schemes that the bad guys used to do to restaurants and stuff like that. It's 21st century extortion, pure and simple.
Wow, that's a visual. That term is quite a visual. So is this ransomware? It's not just already living in your computer; it's sent into your computer by hackers.
Somehow, some way, it's introduced into your computer, and there's different ways that this stuff gets inside. The most common way is through phishing with a PH. So we've all outgrown the Nigerian prince by now.
That's the one that comes to mind, doesn't it?
Yeah, but that's that is so 2003.
Yeah, let's hope no one is falling victim to that.
Yeah. Today's phishing attacks are a lot more sophisticated. Sometimes the English is generally more American English style. The actors are better. A lot of times you'll see phishing attacks that look like invoices. Why did you send me this bogus invoice? Click on this for a description of what it looks like. Or here's an invoice for the stuff you bought from Amazon. Just click here for everything. Or I got a phishing attack once a couple of years ago. The guy was swearing at me. You such and such and so and so. And
they got your attention.
Why did you do this? It did, and that's part of the psychology to get you off balance and make you take an action that you will later regret. Did you ever watch the Sting with Robert Redford?
Oh yeah.
Go through this whole elaborate. It's the same stuff. But now it's over the internet because it's the 21st century. The more things change, the more they stay the same.
Yeah, you're always going to find, as much as there are so many good uses of computers and all of the digital devices we have, there will always be people and entities out there that will try to go in the evil direction with that, right?
Yep, and just like we can zip, we can do Facebook and social media, and we can zip pictures around the planet of all of our cat videos and all of our good stuff. Just like we can do that, we can also zip bad stuff around the planet in a few seconds these days too. I tell everybody there's 7 billion people on our planet, and most of us today are connected over the internet. Figure out of that 7 billion, maybe a billion or so are crooks, and out of that billion, a few million of those are smart crooks. And they're gonna always figure out ways to try to exploit this new communication medium we've got. So the attacks will never stop. The attacks will continue, and they'll get more sophisticated. And the defenses better get more sophisticated too.
All right, which brings me to my next definitional question: what does patching mean?
Patching. Oh, glad you asked. Thank you for asking. As an IT guy, since the days when I had head on my hair, there's some words that I just use and they're second nature, and so patching is one of them. In the software world, there's no such thing as a non-trivial program that's bug-free. It just doesn't exist. And the corollary to that is you can never prove that a program is fully debugged. It just doesn't happen. So a patch means the software vendor finds a bug or a flaw or some kind of an exploit in a program that a bad guy can take advantage of, and the vendor comes up with a software solution for it and fixes the copy of the code. What's a real world metaphor for a patch?
More than a Band-Aid?
More than a Band-Aid? Sometimes, yeah, more than a Band-Aid. Some patches are the equivalent of Band-Aids because they're quick and dirty fixes that don't address the root cause. Some patches are whole new versions of software. Some patches are whole new algorithms to do things. Some patches just fix a bug. There's small ones and big ones and everywhere in between. So, okay, everybody knows about word processing these days, or everybody knows about email these days. We'll use that as an example. So we have an email bug. So when I click on send, something bad happens and the email gets sent to the wrong address. Let's just say that's a program bug. Well, the email vendor would find that bug and they would fix it. They'd make a new version of the software available and tell all their customers, and then all their customers would download it. And so now the customers have the new version and they have the bug fix. That's what patching is all about. Vendors apply fixes. They make the fixes available to customers. Customers download the fixes into their computers, and now customers have the new patches. There's a whole bunch of people and a whole bunch of IT departments that work really hard to keep all those patches up to date and keep it all straight.
Yeah, the up to date is the key. All right, so now that brings me to Petya, the latest of the this what are we calling it? This new strain. Tell us about Petya.
Malware. Call it malicious software or just malware for short, because we like to give everything shortened names.
Okay, so this malware, what is it doing and what is it?
Nobody knows for sure yet. The speculation is that it's ransomware, because it does in fact present a ransom demand to people, and it does in fact scramble files. However, it doesn't scramble files the way most ransomware does. From the research I've done on it, it scrambles all of its files at the next computer reboot. The mechanism that it uses for the ransom payment is primitive. This malicious software wants you to send an email to a specified email address confirming that you've actually paid the ransom. If you're from the attacker's point of view, if you're serious about making money from extortion, forget all the moral implications about this for a second. Just if you're an attacker and you're serious about making money for extortion, you don't do it that way. If you're going to scramble everybody's files, as soon as they click on that malicious software, that program needs to run right now and scramble everything. Running at the next boot to scramble everything and fiddling with the master boot record, that's not the pattern of an extortion attack. And the other problem is, once I go to the trouble and I pay $300 in Bitcoin to the attacker, and $300 is too small of an amount. The going price today is anywhere from $400 to $1,000. Once I go through as a victim, once I go through the process of sending all this Bitcoin, I can't send an email anymore to the attackers because the German email provider disabled the email account once they found out that it was being used by malicious actors.
Right. So that at least was lucky for some people. All right. So I'm looking at a visual. You sent us an article from Krebs on security, and I'm reading from what would show up on your screen if this happened. This message says, if you see this text, then your files are no longer accessible because they have been encrypted. Perhaps you are busy looking for a way to recover your files, but don't waste your time. Nobody can recover your files without our decryption service. Then it goes on to describe how you're going to get those files back, and that's where you're saying they kind of went wrong because there's another step taken. This is the thing. I mean, if it seems fishy, or if it seems peculiar, if it seems not right. I mean, my first line of attack, I'm a small business owner. I have a business ops manager. I don't even deal. I send her a text and I say, can you look, because she has access to my inbox, can you look at this and deal with it, right? Now, not everybody has that. So we're going to take a real quick break, Greg. I'm talking with Greg Scott, and he is author of Bullseye Breach. We have text questions coming in for you. So if you don't mind, I'm going to hold you over through the break so we can get to those. If people have questions, you can text us 81807. I will read the texts that we already have when we come back. Phone lines 651-989-9226 or 866-989-9226. The Maplewood Toyota time check is 9:44. When you need a car or truck, it's time to check out maplewoodtoyota.com first. Roshini Rajkumar back with you. We've got some text questions coming in for Greg Scott. He is author of Bullseye Breach. He is our tech expert helping us understand this new ransomware being called Petya. The outbreak has gone global. If you want to ask him a question or share a comment, give us a text 81807 or feel free to call 866-989-9226. This person, Greg, says, might sound silly, but should we not establish a cyber police of sorts?
It's not silly at all. And I wish there's a whole big, huge, long-winded answer to that question about a cyber police. The long and the short of it is the internet is global. It crosses all kinds of jurisdictional boundaries. And it's unbelievably difficult to separate good stuff from bad stuff. And one person's good stuff might be another person's bad stuff. You know, I might be doing research on how a program works, and I might develop something that looks exactly like a malware sample, and I might even email it to a friend of mine to test. As an author, I go into Facebook all the time, and I ask my friends, if I were standing in an airport and I wanted to take out all the people in the airport and introduce a bomb onto a plane, how would I do it? I have my friends tell me I should be on all kinds of watch lists.
Yes, exactly. But you know a lot. You know too much, Greg.
Yeah. It's just not practical to have a cyber police force. You know, you get into visions of 1984 and thought police and things like that. It's just not that simple. That's the best answer.
And I mean, we do know that the branches of the military kind of each have their own way of advising the politicians, advising the rest of us. They have some sort of cybersecurity going on. They have access to some of the intelligence. They have access to connect with other experts out there outside of the military. But like you say, these things are changing second by second. It's hard to keep up with it. In some ways, yes, and in some ways, no. You know, the more things, like we said earlier, the more things change, the more things stay the same. The concepts haven't changed in 50 years, but the implementations have changed radically, and as the technology has improved and the silicon's improved, and we've found out ways to move data faster. The concepts are the same as they've always been. And on the military cyber advice, President Trump was going to appoint another cyber czar in the U.S. and my mind went nuts. The mayor of New York. I'll think of it. He started his own cyber security company. Well, it turns out his website had major problems, and really?
Lots of people. Yeah, Rudy Giuliani.
Oh yeah, Giuliani.
Yeah, his website, Rudy Giuliani and his cyber defense company, his website had major problems. It was open. I'll give you some technical terms here. It was open on port 22, which means I could SSH into it. I know that's gobbledygook, but the only thing protecting that website from somebody that wanted to destroy it was a password. And if you claim to be a cybersecurity expert, you should probably
have 16 layers of protection.
Yeah, at least on your own website.
Yeah. I'm talking with Greg Scott. He's author of Bullseye Breach. We have texts coming in for you, other people. If you want to text, comment, let us know how secure you feel your systems are. 81807. One listener says, you need to talk to Protocol 46, a business that's in St. Paul. These guys have unbelievable backgrounds, and I'm just telling you, you want to talk about a solution for cybersecurity, talk to Protocol 46. Well, thanks for sharing that. I'm sure the guys and gals at Protocol 46 appreciate the shout out. And in response to the rest of that text, sure, if you want to send me information, go to my show page, WCCO.com/Roshini, Roshini, and you can email me from there. So anything else you want to tell me about them, because this story will continue. I may talk about it on my show on Sunday, and it's always good to get various angles. Let's talk quickly, Greg, before we get into, I want to share tips for regular people and consumers, but this idea of a response plan. You're saying, and other experts like you are saying, that not enough companies spend the time being proactive and having a response plan in place, so they're kind of caught with their pants down.
True. That's true. That's correct.
What should a response plan look like?
Different company by company. The threats are different. The attacks are different. There's no one size fits all blueprint. The best response plan you would develop from different scenarios and different practice runs and different simulations. One possibility is to hire a group to do penetration testing against your company internal network and simulate an attack. The first time around, everybody's going to scramble and nobody's going to know what to do. Get all the players together, talk about it, and then a few months later, rehearse it again. And a few months after that, rehearse it again, and keep rehearsing it.
It's time-consuming, but you're saying, hey, it's worth being proactive in that way, because otherwise it might cost you thousands, millions, whatever, right?
No,
Much more expensive.
I don't think there's any CEO on the planet that wants to stand in front of the TV cameras and say, we care about our security. We take our security seriously.
Right.
I think that I don't think anybody wants to say that in front of the cameras. That's just too tired of a line.
Well, right. But what we're seeing is, when you hear about Anthem, Target, Home Depot, all these different brands that have a lot of consumers connected with them and customer data connected, it certainly, I think, would be a very good PR move if they were touting the fact that they have a response plan. They don't need to share it with us. Do you know what I mean?
Actually, they do.
Really?
Actually, I'm gonna go against conventional wisdom there. They do need to share it with us, and I'll give you. I talked to a organization leader, and I tried to fill his head with all the security stuff he should do, and his eyes glazed over. He said, Greg, just tell me what I need to know in 25 words or less. And I might, if I had hair, I would have torn it out. How do you distill this huge topic down to 25 words or less? So I thought about it for years and years and years. I got it down to 6 words. And it even rhymes. If you're a busy CEO, there's 6 words, and that's all you need to know. Care and share to be prepared. That's all you need to know.
I like it. I want to, in our remaining 30 seconds or so with you, Greg, want to get to this last text we have. This listener says, should we be scared or hopeful? So much in the news.
Both. Be scared and be hopeful.
How do we protect ourselves, Greg?
Oh, boy. Against ransomware, the only reactive defense you have is good backups. That's it. That's all you can do. So good backups means your backup copy of everything that's important to you, keep that disconnected from your work computer or from your day-to-day computer that you use, and there's different ways to do that. Always remember, if malicious software gets inside your computer, that malicious software knows about everything your computer knows about. And if your computer knows how to find your backups, so does the malicious software. There's a famous story about the Tewksbury, Massachusetts Police Department. The police department, the guys that say don't pay the ransom, that police department had to pay the ransom because the attackers got into their only copy of everything that was
Wow,
important.
it's hard to believe. Yes, and I am a small business owner. I have one major laptop. That's it, but it is backed up off-site by my IT company. So every time my computer turns on, it's getting backed up. Well, Greg Scott,
hang on, give me 1 more second.
Yeah, we've got about 3 seconds, literally. You know what? Let me send people to your website. How do people find you?
Go to my author website at dgregscott.com. D as in Daniel. Your offsite backups are not necessarily safe. Offsite does not imply safe.
All right.
Put a layer between your computer and your backups.
All right. We'll have to have you back. Thanks so much, Greg Scott. Great to chat with you tonight. And you have a wonderful night. We've got a big 10 o'clock hour coming up, folks.